everybody grows up, you're watching the Rose Bowl and things like that, and you get to play there. I got to play there when I was a player. And I think the big thing is the stadium's awesome, the locker room's great, but that playing surface is something special. It's a faster surface for a guy that's not as fast like me. I felt fast out there, so it's a really low-cut grass that's good. The atmosphere will be great, and I know the Red Wave will come and support and all that stuff. So it'll be great to be in that stadium and go play a ball game.
How's it going, Coach?
Great
victory. Since this is our last press conference here so far, season hasn't ended yet, but we're at the tail end. How would you assess this season through Skipper's words?
Yeah, man, you're trying to get me to get sentimental about the season. I'm so locked into one more game. It's not over till it's over. But like I kind of said before about being thankful, just lots of ups and downs. Football seasons are tough, man. You know, you have your team goes into the game, and after the game, you're keeping your fingers crossed, hoping everybody stays healthy, and then you have to adapt and overcome once that happens. So we've kind of done that every single week. The main thing I'm appreciative of is the way these guys attacked every single week, the way they prepared, the way they were always ready to go play when it came to game time. Locked in, stayed together as a team, didn't listen to the outside noise, didn't let the adversity get to them, just kept on playing Bulldog football, and we're going to have to continue that now. In my mind, I'm not going to let it go to the end of the year right now. We have a big challenge ahead of us coming up here, and then we have a bowl game also. So a lot to play for, a lot to practice for, a lot of preparation to still continue. So that's where our mind is right now, and that's the focus.
And last time I asked you were general about closing out games in the fourth quarter, but I was wondering, specifically how do you do that? In this past game, no score in the second half. I mean, is it personnel play calling? What does it entail to seal the deal at the very tail end of the quarter?
As the main word is finish. You have to finish. You have to finish. And to finish the fourth quarter just means you have to have more points than them at the end of the game. You know what I mean? That's winning the fourth quarter. So we need to do that. We do different things at practices, which has started all the way back when we were in spring doing different things. And we end Wednesday practice with a clutch period, which is a 2-minute type period where both sides, offense versus defense, going against each other, competing to win that situation like it's a fourth quarter situation. So all those little simple things. And in the off season, the amount of times we do mat drills, we tell guys to finish through the line or touch a line, finish through a cone. All those things matter as far as finishing. So we just need to keep on working at it, keep on getting that mindset that when we get to the fourth quarter, we have to be stronger and we have to finish.
Sure. And since the team is already bowl eligible, going into UCLA, obviously, the importance is getting the win, though. But from the Bulldogs' perspective, what is the significance of a victory against UCLA in the Rose Bowl?
It's the biggest game because it's the next game. You know what I mean? That's the way it goes. We started out playing non-conference, and you get into playing all these conference games, and then you get to go against another non-conference opponent that's a very good opponent, So it just gives us another opportunity and a great atmosphere, a great stadium to show what Bulldog football is all about. That's what it is. So we're going to go out there and play Bulldog football. We're going to represent the Valley and go fight and swing and do everything we got to do to try to get a victory.
You have some guys on the team that have played against UCLA before, like Magdalena, Malachi Langley, and Corey Foreman also brings his own experience against UCLA. I'm curious if you can take anything from those guys.
Definitely, but like I've said since I've been up here, every single game has its own life and history. So you can talk about the stadium, they can talk about the surface and everything like that, but that's a new staff. Nobody's gone against this staff and their schemes that they do now and the players because you have all these different changing with transfers and all that stuff. So this game is going to be completely different than any game we've had previous to this. So it's going to have its own life and history. But as far as talking about kind of like how the locker room is, how the stadium is, how the playing surface is, things like that, that's going to be valuable. But as far as the actual meat and potatoes of the game, I don't know how much we can draw from previous experiences.
I know it's hard to draw, like you said, from previous experiences, but you have played in a historic stadium this year, and now you're going to the Rose Bowl. Can you take anything away from that and apply it to the Rose Bowl?
Not really. I'm not too concerned with the stadium. It's going to be all about us playing together as a team, playing Bulldog football, hitting, tackling, running hard, all those, making plays. The stadium stuff. Like when we played Michigan beginning of the year, we won't go back to that saying it's similar to this. It won't be like that at all. It's going to be about what we need to do to practice in order to win this game.
Deshaun Foster, similar to you, an alumni who's leading the Bruins. I think you played against him in 2000. What do you remember about that game?
I remember a lot, but Deshaun, if we're going to talk about playing days, very good player. Very good player. Big old dude. You had to get down on his legs and tackle him. You went high, he was going to run you over. So, and he was fast. I mean, special, gifted athlete. Really was. Some good battles, 99 and 2000 against those guys. Games that I'll say, and I was just actually talking to Coach Hill about, games we should have won, and you get to finish, we didn't finish those games. So the correlation there is still there. But definitely Deshaun is a good coach. You can feel his energy on the sideline. He's trying to get that Bruin spirit going with those guys. They're playing hard for him. He probably feels a lot like me, a few plays here or there. There could be a little bit more wins on their record. So they're a good team. They have a lot of experienced coaches also. They have NFL coaches. They have other Bruin coaches, all that stuff going. So he's trying to win LA. He's trying to get that fancy come to Pasadena and play in the Rose Bowl, all that stuff going. And they got Jordan and all that stuff going too. So he's definitely attacking the age group he needs to attack. And you can see it, you can feel it, and we'll go see what happens on Saturday.
Morning, Coach. UCLA's had a lot of close games that haven't really gone their way. They're a good team, just not the record showing it. What's probably the biggest challenge about facing UCLA?
You know, we're going to have to definitely win in the trenches like every game. They are big and fast, all right? They got some real good-looking dudes. You watch that film. I mean, they got some good players all across the board, and they do a good job scheming. You know, on offense, you got Eric Bieniemy there, who's running the offense. He's very multiple, trying to find exactly what's their fit. So he's got all these kind of different little wrinkles he keeps throwing out at people. And then on defense, they do everything. They do everything. They got all the coverages. They got all the fronts. Got all the blitzes. So they kind of have a flavor of the week. So we'll have to see what we're getting as far as that goes. But it's going to be a game where we have to go out there and play Bulldog football. We're used to that, and we get another challenge on Saturday.
How busy is this time of year, considering high school football signing days in a few weeks? You got the transfer portal opening up. You got maybe a job interview in a couple weeks here as well. Just how busy is it having these games to coach and also everything else to manage outside of it?
Definitely, but that's ball. I mean, Thanksgiving time, the main thing you left out of there is family, too. You got to have time for your family. That's important, too, and we'll make sure we do that for Thursday. But it's Thanksgiving. Everybody plays football on Thanksgiving. You got to have a turkey game, whatever, with your family and friends. So it is what it is. You got to embrace it. It's pretty normal. If it wasn't busy, you'd think something was wrong. So we just embrace it and keep on working.
And Bryson had the most yards in the game for a freshman since Ryan Matthews, who you coached here at Fresno State. Any similarities in the running style between Matthews and Donaldson?
I think they're very similar in the fact that they love ball, they run very hard, and they both have some speed. That's for sure. Bryson, actually, he's a freshman, you know, so he's going to keep on building, but I think he has a very bright future. We'll see how it keeps going. I just hope he's healthy this week and can go on Saturday.
Thank you.
Coach, what's the mentality of this Fresno State team right now?
Yeah, we are ready to go. I mean, we're in the grind phase right now. Big time. Grind phase. We want to play Bulldog football. We did a good job of that last week. We had good preparation. I think preparation is going to be the key this week. We're going to have to grind through it. We're going to have to be mentally sharp, and then we have to play our best game on Saturday. That's the bottom line. No excuses. Go out there and do what we have to do.
You mentioned after the Colorado State game that you guys usually at this time of year take off the pads a little bit, do some lighter practices. Is that not happening at all this regular season?
We'll go full pads tomorrow. We'll go half pads Wednesday, and then we won't wear actual pads on Thursday, and we'll go play the game. So it'll be physical Dirty Tuesday.
What's the biggest challenge that this UCLA offense presents?
They present a lot of challenges. They're going to want to run the ball first. We have to stop the run game. We cannot let them establish the run game. They have a big old line. They have backs that run very physical. So we're going to have to stop their run game and make them throw the ball. If we can do that, we should be successful.
Hey, Coach, during the bowl season, you can play about a week after your last game, or you can play about a month later. How do you prepare your team, or what goes on during the time, like a month away, to prepare for the next bowl game if it's a month away?
Yeah, it's kind of a good question because I don't really know which bowl we'll be in, things like that. You actually get there's an extra week with all the championship games now, and obviously we won't be in that championship game. So next week's kind of like a bye week. You can look at it that way. And then Sunday you get the selection show, and then we'll know when our game is. And, you know, we could be anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks before we play the game. So we'll have another week where we'll get prepared, you know, a little extra practices to get ready for the game, and then we'll get into a game week. But if it goes further than that, then we'll adjust to that. But a lot has to happen before we get to there. We'll adjust to it when we know, and we'll work from there.
Coach, not to bring up bad memories, but the last time we had a 12-30 kick, things didn't go the way at UNLV. So how are you anticipating that early kickoff again, and maybe prepping them a little bit for that early start?
Definitely. I mean, this early kick it is a bad memory you brought up there, but I don't think it had anything to do with our preparation or anything like that. We just got whooped, basically, and our preparation, we're going to have to get ready for a UCLA team that's going to be ready to go. It's their senior day over there. We're going to be in the atmosphere we're in. We just need to be ready to play. I don't think necessarily this game and that game will correlate in any way. It's the last game of the year, and we have to go play.
Any mental edge with a 4-game win streak against any program like this that coming in that's what's going into this game with the 4-game win streak?
I'm a life and history of its own type of guy, as I keep saying. I don't think anything from the past is going to have anything to do with this game. We're going to have to play Bulldog football like all those other teams did. That's where other Fresno State teams did. So that's what it is. That's how I see it. Once that ball's kicked, nobody's going to be talking about all that. It's going to be the next play, winning the next play. So that's where the focus is.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
I was looking to see if you're working on a Fu Manchu right
No. Don't give him credit for that.
Morning.
Morning. So Coach, got the victory against Colorado State. What did the tape tell you about what the defense was able to provide on Saturday, their final home game?
Well, I think the most impressive thing about our performance was we limited them to less yards rushing than anybody had the entire season, including Texas in the opener. They were averaging over 5 yards a carry. They finished the game at 3.5, and I thought our guys up front did an outstanding job of defending the run game. And there was a couple of runs. I think the longest run of the day was 14 yards, and if you go back and look at all the other games, you're seeing 40 and 50-yard runs almost in every game, and 20-yard runs was kind of the norm. So we did a good job up front, played really physical. I think Coach Skipper did a great job of preparing the entire team over that 2-week period. Having that little extra time, I think, helped us. And our guys knew it was going to be a challenge. And that was a very good football team, a very good rushing football team that we felt had, if we could make them throw the ball, we would win the game. I think I said that last week. And we made them throw the ball 50 times. And that was a team that was averaging about 20 passes a game.
Did you see a difference in the tackling from the Air Force game into this game?
I thought our overall run fits and our attacking the line of scrimmage, there was two entirely different offensive schemes. So it's hard to compare, but I thought our tackling was sharp. We got a lot of people to the ball, and we played physical. We really played physical up front. We established the line of scrimmage. I thought our front four plus our linebackers really set the tone for the game. And, we acknowledged that in our meetings yesterday. We didn't have one defensive player of the game. We gave it to 5 defensive linemen that played outstanding in the game.
Looking ahead at UCLA, they don't seem to have like one big target, especially in the pass game. They spread it around a lot. Assess kind of what you're facing when it's not one kind of guy to focus on in that offense.
Well, they've got guys, I'll say that, watching the tape. They've got some big receivers, they can run. Number 7 the other night against SC put on an all-star performance, made some unbelievable catches in the game. But this team has very good players. They have talent. They've had probably the toughest schedule in the country when you look at it, and they're battle tested. They've had some big games. They beat an Iowa team that I always look at as one of the best fundamental teams each and every year, and they put 414 yards on Iowa, over 200 yards rushing. In the Rutgers game, they had almost 500 yards of offense, kind of a combination of big plays and, passing and running. So This team's capable. They've got good tight ends. They've got good running backs. The quarterback's been very efficient, 65% completion. He's mobile. He gets out of trouble, extends plays. This is a good overall balanced football team, and we got a big challenge. They've got very, very good talent and quality athletes.
Coach, how do you analyze the growth of this Fresno State defense as the year has gone on?
Well, I think, we started the year playing, sound, hard, fundamental football. We've had some guys banged up and nicked up throughout the year, but they've kept on battling. And I think I was really proud of the performance the other night, knowing how much that game meant to us and our season and postseason and things of that nature. To go into a game like that and be able to, I didn't think the game honestly should have been close. I thought we could have, the game got a little tight there at the end, not a little, but it got tight. But I felt and even after looking at the tape, I felt, we had opportunities to dominate that game, and I thought our guys played really hard. So I think we've gotten better. We've gotten a lot of guys playing time as the year has gone on, and we're continuing to do that. Just the other night we had a true freshman out there playing corner some, and so we're still trying to find the right combinations at times with injuries as you deal with that. But I'm proud of the way our guys have competed.
Morning, Coach.
Morning.
Hinted at it right there, but how did you work without Cam Lockridge, not having a guy like him? What did you do to make the defense still, as strong as it was on Saturday?
Well, I thought AZ played a very good game. Stayed on top of the routes, showed his speed down the field in coverage. The guy that didn't show up big on the stats, but Julian Neal played very solid on his side of the field as well. So, then we kind of makeshifted some moves inside. Jakari played, and Loyal got in there a few snaps in our dime package. So everybody contributed, but like I said last week, it didn't change our approach to the game. We still did what we normally do from a schematic standpoint, and for the most part, till the very end. I was disappointed in the end of the game. A lot of the yards came in the last 5 minutes of the game, to be quite honest with you. And that last drive, I'll take responsibility on that. I could have done a better job. We got into a play that we didn't execute the call, but I probably should have made the call at that point in the game. So, I'll take the responsibility for that.
And in the first 5 minutes of the game, they went down and scored. And I'm just curious, because since the Washington State game, the opponents have always scored on the first drive. Is that just because you guys are filling out the offense and trying to figure out what they're going to do? Because after that, you guys typically end up not letting them score much after that.
No, we just like to get them comfortable, think that they're going to have an easy time. No, seriously. Actually, we had 2 third down opportunities. We had a 3rd and 11 where we flushed the quarterback out of the pocket. He scrambled, and the receiver, it was a broken route, ended up catching the ball. They extended the drive. And the first 3rd down that they converted, we had them very first series. We had them 3rd and I think it was about 5 or 6. And the personnel changed late, but I stayed with a call that probably wasn't the best call against that personnel that they had brought in, but I didn't want to be running out on the field late, and they converted them. They ran the ball actually on 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 5, and they got about 7 yards for the first down. So I didn't feel bad after the first drive, quite honest with you. When they were trying to run their normal running game, we were in good position, and our guys were attacking, did a good job.
And speaking of that, the run defense looks like it got Gabriel Lightfoot back. I know last year the run defense was really banged up. A lot of guys out and injured. Is this run defense pretty healthy given how many weeks they played?
Healthy, as I guess as you can be at this point in the season. They're all battling with some minor injuries, some pretty significant, things that cause them to miss time in practice and things of that nature. But they're tough, and they're fighters, and they're bulldogs, guys up front. Kavika and Lightfoot, those guys are slugging it out each and every play, and then the guys that come in are doing a good job there. Goldie and Jacob Holmes there, and so it's a group effort. Devo had another good game. Sione had a good game, and Corey Foreman had the best game he's had since he's been here, which was a great thing to see, and hopefully he can build on that this week and for the bowl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's it going, Coach? Oh yeah, speaking of Foreman, you said last time that he was a work in progress. After that performance, how would you assess his overall demeanor after the game?
He's progressing. He had a very good game. Played well fundamentally. Played good against the run. Affected the quarterback in the pass game. He had the sack on one of our pressures. His assignment technique and assignments were as good as they've been all year. So I think he made a big step last week. I think Coach Franklin did a great job with him, preparing him. And actually, Coach Franklin came up to me before the game and said Corey's going to have a big game. And he hadn't said that all year long, and he said it. And I looked at him, and I was kind of like, why do you feel that? He says, I'm just going to tell you, he's going to have a good game. And sure enough, he came out and played exceptional football for us. And like I said, I think a lot of credit goes to Jethro, and I think for the linebackers, I think Coach Waddy has done a really good job with those guys, and those guys have played consistently well. Stevie had another good game, played physical. Malachi, Phoenix comes up with some huge plays in the game, the interception, padded ball on the sideline, but it's great to see the way those guys up front are playing.
With a performance like that, will we see Foreman get more snaps against UCLA and in the bowl game?
I think he's earned more opportunities, yeah, and like we'll be meeting all day this afternoon, kind of putting the not final touches, but putting touches on the game plan, and I think he's earned an opportunity, and hopefully he's going to take advantage of it.
Sure. And how does the defense prepare to play when you're with a great player like Cam Lockridge? I mean, when you spend all that time, practicing, preparing, with them, in the lineup, and you don't have them on game day, how do you get the defense to adjust to that?
That's the old cliche. Everybody says it. It's next man up, and we just roll from there. Guys, guys got to step up. Guys are hoping for their opportunities, and then you just you just go. Fortunately, we are not limited. I've been with teams in the past when you've lost a really good player like Cam, that you had to make serious schematic adjustments in order to try to get through the game and not put somebody at a disadvantage. I don't feel that way right now. I think our guys will step up, our young guys will play and execute everything that we're capable of doing.
You mentioned Phoenix's interception and the bat down, and then you think back to the pick six, the last home game you didn't have against Air Force.
Right.
Very few guys can make those three plays that he made. When you have a player who's that unique athletically, does it take you a while to figure out the best way to deploy him or how to use him for the best benefit of the team?
Yeah, I think so. That's kind of been a process throughout the year, and even in the off season, trying to assess his skill set relative to the other guys, and trying to get a mix because they're all very deserving. Those three guys that have played a considerable amount of the snaps this year, and there's a balance. Certain packages tend to lean towards these two, and then other things, depending upon what a team's schematically doing, goes the other way. But Phoenix has made plays. I was kidding him yesterday because he made that similar play a year ago. He had an interception like that, and in the relatively the same part of the field. It's kind of ironic, but yeah, many guys can't make that type of play. His speed and his ability athletically to chase the quarterback down, run plays down is really special.
And for UCLA, playing that Big Ten schedule obviously has something to do with it, but it looks like Coach Bieniemy and Coach Foster have really brought some physicality to that offense. How would you describe what that challenge is, and what's the number one thing for the defense to not be overpowered physically in this game?
Well, yeah, I think Coach Bieniemy has kind of taken a little bit of a NFL approach to things where, you know, they're going to come at you and try to establish the run. They play with multiple tight ends at times. You know, they're big and athletic up front. So the other thing that they do an exceptional job of is the screen game. This is the best screen team, halfback screen team that we've played all year, and they run a lot more than most teams that we've played. So that's a big component of their offense, and it's not just third down, you know, it's first and second down, it's off of play action. They do a really creative job in the screen game. So, you know, they've had some games where they've really got the run game going, and then they've had other games where they've gotten away from it, it seemed. That was pretty much earlier in the year. I think they kind of have found what they want to do here towards the latter part of the season, and we got to be able to defend both ends of it, because they throw the play action pass, they can throw the ball deep. These receivers are big guys that go up for the football. And, you know, I got to feel that we need to be at our best in the run game like we were a week ago in order to have a chance to slow them down.
Awesome, thanks, Coach.
Great. And Coach Foster, I have vivid memories of him running for a 49-yard touchdown against us in 2000 that kind of was the difference in the game. So that's not a good memory, but it's a memory.
That and the fumbled snap, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't want to talk about that. Yep.
Coach, let's start with Mountain West Freshman of the Week, Bryson Donaldson. His explosive ability, at least what we saw on the field Saturday night, what were the domino effects for the entire offense because of what you were able to do on those plays?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just saw, you know, just his speed as far as hitting the holes and running through stuff. And, you know, I think that it probably surprised everybody, you know, just as far as just kind of, you know, all of a sudden, you know, similar run schemes and all of a sudden, you know, explosive runs happening. And, you know, I think it provided a jolt, I think, for everybody. You know, I think that it built confidence in those guys just as far as everybody kind of breaking tackles on the perimeter and being able to generate explosives, because we kind of lacked that in the run game. And all of a sudden to have multiple, you know, kind of right out the gate was, I definitely think, a jolt kind of for everybody.
What were you personally more impressed with, his touchdown run or his blitz pickup on the touchdown to Mac?
Well, you know, the touchdown run, you know, it was great, you know, and it was one of those things where it was just kind of well executed by everybody. You know, just everything from the way the routes kind of pulled apart the back end, and then Jacob Spalmer did a really nice job on it. You know, so like there was a bunch of really good things that happened on the touchdown run, and he hit that thing fast. You know, actually probably the most impressive part of his touchdown was probably the spike, you know, when he hit the end zone. But the blitz pickup is something that, you know, just as a whole offense, I'm super proud of. You know, Bryson did a great job on it. But I showed it yesterday in our unit meeting. We had a period dedicated. That's a really difficult pressure to pick up. You know, we've got a lot of clips of a lot of quarterbacks getting smoked by that same pressure by Colorado State over the last 2 years. I mean, we dedicated a 5-minute period to what our checks are versus that, based on, you know, all the different formations we could be in, and everything from, you know, Mikey's got to know everything about, you know, what personnel is on the field for us, you know, because that dictates what we're able to do, what formation we're in, all that. And so many moving parts to it.
and then it was executed flawlessly by the guys, like everything from the O-line, the tight end, and then Bryson did a great job on it, and that was really cool to see, because it was, you know, it's a very, very specific look that we got, and we executed it exactly how we wanted to.
And with regard to UCLA defensively, what are some of the things that you're seeing on tape and saying, boy, we better be ready?
Yeah, I mean, they've got like length and size and speed really at every position on the defense. I mean, they've got number 2, the defensive end, is a really impressive athlete. But I mean, there's snaps of him playing linebacker in different games. I mean, he's special. He can rush the passer and all that. You know, the defensive end opposite of him, 44, he's good. They got, I'm assuming 93. You know, I mean, I'm assuming that he's going to be a draft pick defensive tackle. I mean, he is very disruptive. Linebackers 20 and 49. I mean, they run. They're smart. I mean, they're good. And then the secondary, I think the shortest guy is like 6'2". You know, they got safety that's 6'5". I mean, they got length and speed really everywhere. So that's really the thing that stands out to me, is just kind of the size and speed of the guys on defense. You know, over there, they've got some impressive looking guys.
How's it going, Coach? No score in the second half. How do you improve upon that, you know, the specifics? Is it trick plays, new personnel, timing? I mean, how can the offense improve to score in the fourth quarter and to seal it at the end?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's been an issue in multiple games for us, you know, and so, you know, I'll take full accountability for it. You know, we've obviously got to improve that. You know, I think that there's some things that, yes, there's things I can do. I think that collectively as a staff, I think we can do better offensively, as far as maybe, you know, kind of what we're getting to or what we want to get to, which ultimately starts, you know, that's me. You know, I got to do a better job, you know, as far as, you know, how it's not even halftime adjustments. It's just kind of what are we getting, what do we got to get to, and you know, I got to do a better job with that. You know, I got to put the players in a better position, and you know, I think there's certain things. You know, I know Coach Skip, you know, mentioned it just as far as finishing. You know, I think we can, you know, maybe finish practice better. You know, just as far as, you know, making an emphasis on that. You know, as far as kind of moving forward. But ultimately, I'll just take full responsibility. I've got to be better in the second half, and it starts with, you know, ultimately what are we doing at halftime? What are we getting to, and go from there.
And the running game has struggled, you know, for most of the year, but this last game, everything hit its stride. What was done differently for the rushing game to work, and how does that carry over to UCLA?
You know, I don't want to put it on one guy, because I think the O-line did a good job and everything. But you know, Bryson Donaldson, you know, I mean, he ran extremely well, you know, and he broke tackles and ran through tackles and hit things at a different speed, you know. So, you know, I thought the guys up front, you know, did a good job, you know. But ultimately, it comes back to just your last question about the second half, though. You know, we did not run the ball as effectively in the second half as we did the first half, versus similar looks. You know, I mean, they had maybe added an extra guy to the box every once in a while, but for the most part, it's similar looks. Like, we got to finish the game, you know, how we started the game running the ball. But yeah, you know, I think, again, I thought the guys up front did a good job, and I think Bryson, you know, really brought some juice to the backfield.
For sure. And I believe that whole quote is, you know, best defense is good offense, and obviously a defense can assist a offense with turnovers, field position, even, you know, scoring and putting points on the board. So on your end, what is it that this offense can do to complement your defense for all that they've done for the offense this season?
Well, I think the main thing, you've seen it in this game, you've seen it in the San Jose game, is if we can give them a lead, they can do some really cool stuff over there, you know, and you turn a running football team into a passing team, you know. So generally speaking, like, we generally start pretty fast on offense, and you know, I think ultimately it comes back to, when you look at the second half, more important than the maybe scoring points. If we can establish a lead, if we're up 28-7, you know, we can't go 3 and out and put ourselves in third and extra long situations. And that was our biggest issue the other night, was being taken off the field on third down, and we were in too many third and extra long situations. And ultimately it comes back to, we've got to limit, you know, once we get a lead, we got to keep the lead and keep the ball in our possession. And I think that we got to possess the ball longer. That's ultimately, I think, what it comes down to. Is more important. 21-point lead should stay a 21-point lead if we do our part as far as at least possessing the ball, because they were able to do some really good stuff on defense. We've got to be better.
What's the biggest difference you've seen from Mikey Keene over the past couple of weeks?
I probably just go back to give him just credit for him not getting rattled by the outside noise, and he's just been extremely efficient. I think he was 70% or whatever, and that was like his lowest for the last few weeks. I mean, he has done a really nice job as far as throwing the ball away when it needs to. We had the intentional grounding the other day, which was unfortunate, but generally speaking, he's done a good job getting rid of it. Not really putting the ball in a lot of dangerous spots. Ultimately, he's just been very, he just played confident and played with really good poise.
And what's the biggest advantage from calling plays from upstairs as opposed to on the field?
Yeah, and I went up back in the box again for the Air Force game. I started in the box for most of the first half the other night, and then we had headset issues, so I ended up coming down. And then I just didn't trust that was going to be fixed for the second half, and I stayed down. The first thing I would just say is you kind of get removed away from kind of the emotion of the sideline, and I'll be the first one to say I'm high strung, I'm wired hot. So like when it's good, and when it's not, it's one of those things where it kind of removes you from that and allows you to kind of stay within your thoughts and within your focus when you're up there. Just because it's just not quite the same emotion. It's emotional, but it's not the same. You don't have everything going on around you, and so I clearly am a better version of myself upstairs. And that's what I've kind of realized through this is most of the year last year. We had some really good moments last year, and then I'm a better version of myself, I think, upstairs, just because I'm able to be a little more collected in my thoughts between drives and stuff like that.
Coach, when Bryson's on his career high pace and then you see him go down, is there a part of you that's like, my God, can I just catch a break here?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but at the same time, Elijah Gilliam's a good player, and Jonathan Arsenault is a guy that's come a long way. So, at the end of the day, it's always next man up, and I was more probably disappointed for Bryson than it was necessarily for, me or us. Like I said, we've got quality backs to go ahead and step in, and, but it was more so Bryson, like, man, like you're having really the breakout game that, he probably dreamed of having, and then that got pulled up short. So that was disappointing on his behalf.
Morning, Coach.
Morning.
Speaking of dreams, have you ever dreamed of playing or coaching inside the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, actually, when I first started coaching, my wife could probably attest to this. Is like I had, it was like a goal of mine someday to call plays in the Rose Bowl, and here I am. So, that's definitely exciting and a cool opportunity.
And I love what you said last week about the team having a lot to play for. With the bowl game locked up, UCLA not having much to play for, what does this Fresno State team have to play for now?
Still think there's a lot to it. I mean, there's you can't get to 8 wins without 7. I think that's the first thing is we got to get a 7th win. I know that there's a lot of guys that from California that they either dream of playing for UCLA or they want to go beat UCLA. And so I think that there's always just the pride part of it, and there's guys with relationships on that team and bragging rights and all that. So I think that naturally there's a lot of guys that they want to beat UCLA. They want to go win on a bigger stage and all that stuff. So, but I think really it comes down to you want to win as many games as you can. And I think that this team, we have a good team. We've had our moments where we have struggled, and not gotten the exact results we wanted. But I think that when you talk about kind of validating that we do have a good football team, I think that that's really where it comes down to is just playing Bulldog football and showing we do have a good team.
and Mikey Keene is showing signs that next season could be, even better for him. The numbers prove it. But what is one area besides the turnovers that can really make Mikey Keene a championship caliber quarterback?
Yeah, I think that he's really improved as far as his willingness to push the ball downfield and take his shots. He trusts his guys on the perimeter, and I think it's just continuing to take strides in that area when we do take our shots and trying to connect on some more of those. I think that would be a big point of emphasis. But when you talk about again, he's where I think he's improved as much as anything is just his overall poise, thing. So I'm excited about what he does potentially bring to the table, and I think as his confidence grows in that area, it will continue to evolve.
When we get down to the tail end of the season, do you feel like you kind of start trying to empty the playbook a little bit to the final few games here?
Well, you get to a few situations where maybe it's tight red zone plays that you've been saving for 2-point plays, and now it's like, well, hey, I need to score a touchdown off of it, or something like that. But it comes down to I think that we've at some point used just about everything we've had, and then you play a team like this that does so much stuff on defense, and you got to really kind of go to your best stuff, and because there's a lot of things that are so game plan specific, but at the end of the day, I think that that's really where it comes down to is maybe certain things that you've been saving for a specific situation, but now hey, the situation might come at a different time than maybe we thought.
How much do you hear from guys talking about specific maybe milestones that they want to reach in a season, and how, I know you got the game plan ahead of you, but how, is there a little bit in your mind you think about that sometimes with the milestone?
Yeah, I think that, to our players' credit, they don't really, at least I'm sure they talk about it, but I don't really hear, stuff. But there's certain things that I am aware of like, oh man, that's pretty close, or, whatever. So, you'd love to make that happen for guys, if you can, for sure.
Lastly, just in the Thanksgiving spirit, what are you most thankful for about this team in this season?
I think that, and I mentioned it last week with just talking about the seniors, but just the overall resilience of the team and just kind of embracing stuff as an opportunity. It's a blessing to be here at Fresno State, and being, there's a guy that when you go to we go to the March to Victory before the game, and every single game, every home game, he's there, he's got something to say, and it's at the end of the day, I appreciate that, I respect it. I told him that the other day. I said, hey man, I respect the fact that regardless, rain or shine, every game, regardless, you are out here and you're right here at the end of the March to Victory, being super positive with our guys. He's got something to say to me every time, but I appreciate it, and so I just think that, just kind of the privilege of being here and, kind of what this program represents, but then like this team really represents that too. I mean, there is no quit, we've embraced the opportunities that we've had, and it hasn't gone our way every time, but just the way our guys just kind of bounce back and come back to work, and I think that's just a testament to the players and who they are and what they're about.